Hey, Mahnaim from MemberStack here, and welcome to MemberScript 185. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to add course progress and a milestone badge to your Webflow course website. Once a user has landed on their lessons page and they mark a lesson off as complete, what they'll be able to see is that the button state will change from complete course to an inspiring message, and the course progress over here will also update with how far they are along in that course. If I can just show you how lesson 2 would work as well. And I mark that off as complete. I can see that the button has updated and there's now 2 out of 5 lessons that have been completed. Once a user has completed the entire course, so we'll just mark all of these off, it will say lesson or course complete. Right, let me show you how to set this up all inside of Webflow. In Webflow, you are going to want to add MemberScript 185 to your CMS collection lessons page, and it should look like this. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link to that code should be in the description below, and if you're watching this on the MemberStack site, then you should have already seen the code. You're going to need a few things in order to get this started, and we're going to start off with the CMS. You're going to have to create 3 CMS collections, so courses, modules, and lessons. For courses, what you need to make sure of is that you have a course identifier, and it's with a caps, so course 1, course 2, and so forth. And then you're also going to reference the lessons and then the modules within that course. For modules, you're going to do something similar, but for this, you are only going to reference lessons under that module. And then for lessons, you are now going to reference the course that that lesson falls under, as well as the module that that lesson falls under. And now you're going to have a lesson identifier. So for instance, for this lesson identifier, it's going to be course 1, the course it falls under, module 4, the module it falls under, and then lesson 4, the lesson number for this lesson. All right, so on the page itself, you are now going to need to set up a few things in order to get this working. We're going to start off with the course template page, which will allow a user to enroll in a course. You're going to add a button for enrollments, and it's going to have the attribute of, over here, MS code enroll, and that's going to be the course identifier. And then on this page, you are also going to make sure that there is a script running site-wide in order to control enrollments. So this script over here to enroll and unenroll a user from a course. You can see over here that we have a redirect URL that will redirect them to the page where all of their courses live. In this instance, I redirect users to the success page because that's where all my courses for a user would be, but you can change this to dashboard, home, course library, wherever you want to send a user after they have enrolled in a course. All right. From here, you are now going to add on your success page, which would be your dashboard page, for instance. You are now going to add all of your courses on this page. You're going to add in a collection list wrapper, and then you're going to reference all of your courses. And then on this page, you are going to add the script that will filter out all of the courses that a user has enrolled in. So it's only going to show the ones that a user is enrolled in. And for this, you are now going to have to add an attribute to the item. Over here, you're going to add the attribute of MS code item and then course identifier in order for the script to identify what course a user is enrolled in. And then the button is just going to link to a current lesson, but you're going to make sure that it only links to one lesson. So instead of linking to multiple, you just link it to the first lesson in that course. We now also have an empty state over here to show in case a user has not enrolled in any courses. That will just redirect them to the enroll a course CMS page. And this has the attribute of MS code enroll empty, and the button just goes to courses, and then you can change that URL to what course you'd want a user to enroll into. Or you can also add a collection over here that will just link to a certain course URL instead. All right, that is everything for lessons, everything for the success page and course page. Now we're going to move on to the lessons page. On the lessons page, we have the script for member script 185 that'll control the course progress as well as the badge milestones. We have a few attributes on this page in order to make this work. So just expand that. Okay, so firstly, what you're going to want to do on the left panel is to add a collection list wrapper, and that is going to be for all of your modules under this course. And then you are going to add a module heading over here. Yes, and then you are going to add the text and link that to the module. You're then going to add another collection list wrapper that is now going to reference all of the lessons under that module. So we have lesson 1 that falls under getting started with Webflow and so forth. And you can see over here that under module number 4, if I'm not mistaken, we have lesson 5 and 4. Within this collection list for all of your lessons, you are going to add a link that's going to link to your current lesson so that a user can navigate to different lessons. And now over here for the checkbox, in order to check off a lesson and mark it as complete, you are going to make sure to add the attributes of MS Code Mark Complete, and that's going to be tied to the lesson identifier. And then you're also going to add MS Code Confetti Falling. That's just to give it a nice effect when a user marks a lesson off as complete. This one over here is optional and you can remove that if you don't need it. On this check mark, you are going to make sure that this class is always on your website. So the class of yes, that styles the color of the check button. So if you ever want to change the color of the check mark when a user has marked a lesson off as complete, you would style the yes class. I have added this class in the collection list at the very bottom over here, so that you do not have to make sure that that class is always persistent on the site. Instead, it will always live here. And as long as you do not delete this div, you'll always have the classes of yes and the classes of is complete for the complete lesson button. So this one, you can just hide it, but that is just for your reference. Okay. So that is for checkboxes in order to mark a lesson off as complete. And now the complete lesson button. You are going to add the attribute of MS Code Mark Complete. And again, that's going to be tied to the lesson identifier. You're also going to add another attribute of MS Code Confetti Explosion. And this is also optional. You do not need to add the confetti effect, but that's just a cool effect for users. Okay. Now moving on to the course badge progress or course progress badge. Firstly, you're going to create a badge and you're going to give that an attribute of data MS code completion badge. That will tell the script where this badge lives on your page. And then now you're going to add a few things in order to make this work. Just expand that. Inside this badge, we have badge content, and that's going to house your badge title as well as your badge status, and then your icon. For your badge title, you are going to, for your badge status, you are going to add the attribute of data MS badge text, and then you're now going to have another div for the progress bar. Within this div, you are going to add a progress bar background, and this is the one you can style. Currently, it does have a gray background so that when a user does this on a course, it will go back to gray. So then after that, you are going to have another div for the progress bar, and that's now going to have an attribute of data MS code progress bar. And then we are going to have the progress bar text with the attribute of data MS code progress text. Another thing to note with the script on the lessons page is that every time a user marks a lesson off as complete by clicking this button over here or this check mark over here, you can see that a message changes over here. So that you can change within the script to define what a user is going to see every time they mark a lesson as complete. So those messages are all the way here within the script for encouraging messages. And if you also want to change the colors of the buttons when a user marks a lesson off as complete, you would add the hex codes over here. And that is all that you need to customize within the script. All right. Now with all of this set up, and when a user marks a lesson off as complete, what you will see under a lessons member JSON is that they have this structure over here, where they have the course, module, and lesson marked as true, and then when they enrolled within a course as well. If they unenroll, this data disappears. If they mark a lesson off as incomplete, this data above here will disappear as well. And that's how you can add course progress and a milestone badge for users on the page. Everything else that you see here from the lesson headings as well as the video, you can pull all of these from the CMS in order to make this page truly dynamic. Okay, so if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out in the Slack 2.0 channel. Bye.